Thank you so much for your time this evening. It is time for Fashion Watch. My panelists are in studio. Fashion Watch resident panelists in studio tonight: Ian Mbogwa, Carol Odero. Yeah, there you go. Ian Mbogwa and Carol Odero are in studio with us. Of course, on this other end is Robert Burale and Annabelle Onyango, also resident panelists on Fashion Watch. So let's get the conversation started, guys. I hope you had a lovely week. And let's begin with the images that we have this week. And we begin with this image of Professor Judy Wahungu. Our topic tonight is on weaves. And we're talking about weaves and the fact that a lot of women in Kenya today are opting to wear weaves. That's Professor Judy Wahungu, and this is when President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy were introducing her to Kenyans as the Cabinet Secretary for Environment, Water and Natural Resources. As you can see there, she's got a dark weave on her. It's a full head weave, could be a wig. Let's begin with the guys in the house. You know, we know that there is a campaign on social media called Mawe, which is Men Against Weaves. Let me get Ian's views on this.
Well, I hate weaves. I despise weaves. So, because 99.999% of the ladies who wear weaves wear the wrong ones. They don't match them, and they don't have them put on professionally. Very few do a good job.
So you would rather, if a weave is not obvious, if somebody can't tell that is a weave, or what do you say?
Yes, if somebody's like yours, I can look at it and try and wonder, is that a weave or is it her hair? It's nicely done. I'm not sucking up. It is nicely done.
Are you sure?
Let's hear from Robert. Robert, let's take a look at that clip. Look at it, and what do you think of that look?
I'm also not a very big fan of weaves because some people have overrated them. Some are over the top, some are good. But I don't like when you hear someone saying, please, does my hair look good? And it's a weave. It doesn't look bad, to be honest. Decent and smart, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Annabelle, I saw you giving Robert a side eye, like you don't quite agree with what he's saying. What do you think about that?
I think most women, if they talk about my hair, it's because she bought it. Whether it came out of her hair naturally or she got it in the salon, it's her hair. She paid a lot of money for it.
Don't touch my wig.
It's her hair. She has the receipt to prove it.
Exactly.
Right. Carol, what do you think? And I want to talk about the shade of the hair when you look at it and her complexion, and because you know, obviously as stylists you look at the overall look from head to toe. What do you think about that?
I think I've seen worse weaves. If I'm looking at hers, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably rate it as a 7.5.
Yeah.
Because I have definitely seen weaves that look terrible. I like the shade because, first of all, it's too long and it covers, partially covers her face. So if she had another color, then it would be too overwhelming for her. And also she's supposed to be in formal sector. So I don't think anything brighter would actually be in her favor.
Ian,
Yes.
I want you to rate that
Out of
look out of 10.
3.
Are you serious?
Okay, 3.5.
Okay. Ian rates it as a 3, but then again, he does not like weaves. But guys, we've also got an expert with us tonight. He's a trichologist. Muli Musyoka is his name, and we'll be getting his insights. We'll be getting his views on just what a good weave is, what a bad weave is. His name is Muli Musyoka. He's a trichologist, which essentially is a hair doctor. He unravels hair mysteries, and we'll be crossing over to talk to him shortly. But let's continue with our next image, and this is of Nairobi County Women's Representative Rachel Shebesh, and this photo was taken. Let's have a look at that photo. Right, there you go. This image was taken during the incident, after the incident with Nairobi County Governor Evans Kidero, and they held a press conference with her husband there to address that issue, to talk about that issue. Let me begin with you, Annabelle.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's not her real hair. It's either a wig or a weave, probably a weave. I'm not an expert on weaves, but that clearly looks like one. And it's pretty crazy. I mean, it's a lot of hair. She's obviously, you know, she likes the bouffant look, which is, you know, when the hair sort of, you know, the closer to God, the bigger your hair, whatever that expression is. And that's clearly her aesthetic. I think she could tone it down a little bit. The height is quite extreme. I think if she toned it down a bit, it would be okay. A shorter weave is appropriate for an older woman.
Okay.
It looks like after that slap, it fell off and it was put on backwards. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Carol, what do you think about? I'm just totally ignoring Ian, completely ignoring you with that statement there. Carol, what do you think?
First of all, Ian, when you're talking about rating it, that is a 3.
3 is too high.
Actually,
This is
no,
a -3.
That would be a 3.
-3.
Well, that's fine. Get it. But that weave is excessive. It is too loud. It is too big. It looks like she did not put any thought into it. Like she just did it because she had to put something on her head. It does her no favors. It doesn't flatter in any way. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible weave, and she should never have it on.
Yeah.
Right, and you know, in defense of Honorable Rachel Shebesh, I know that she has previously said that she does her hair where women talk about their issues. She does her hair either at Kenyatta Market or at places where she can interact with women, not to defend this look, but perhaps for her, this, of course, a statement, perhaps, or maybe her way to interact with the women she represents. Robert, she's in leadership. She's in parliament a lot of the time. Of course, a lot of women look up to her. Would you go for this look?
This hair cannot be defended even by the best lawyers at all. If you look at it, it's trying to compete with KICC. It makes the husband even look like a younger brother, because it's just so big. It's 3/10 is too generous. She's a leader. People look up to her. But if I followed her with that hairstyle, you are definitely going to the wrong direction.
Right, and yeah, Annabelle.
Can I just add, I mean, hair is a political thing. It really is. There's a lot of politics tied up with women's hair. You know, there's a lot of ideas to do with patriarchy and beauty and sort of
explain that.
standards, the standards that women are subjected to. You know, women sort of feel pressure to have longer hair.
Subjected by whom?
By patriarchy. There are standards out there, Ian. Let's be real. There are standards of beauty out there that women feel pressure to succumb to
By who?
follow.
Pressure
By
from
who?
the men,
You
or
tell
pressure
me.
from trying to keep up with?
I think it's a
The
little bit of
next-
both, but I think the whole weave debate comes out of this whole idea of women are supposed to have long, flowy hair, you know?
Right, and like I mentioned earlier, we've got a hair expert with us tonight because matters hair are sensitive matters and we need to get his input. He unravels hair mysteries. If you've got a receding hairline, if there's a reason why you need that weave on your head, he's got all the answers. His name is Muli Musyoka, and let's listen in on what he has to say regarding this weave conversation tonight. As we wait on that, right, and as we wait on that, let's take a look at and here we go. I understand that Muli is with us now. Muli Musyoka is a trichologist, big word there, hair expert. And let's hear from Muli. Muli, you are a hair expert. Just before we continue with our conversation, tell us what is a good weave and what is a bad weave in your opinion?
Thank you, Lillian. A good weave is one that is not putting weight on your hair, that does not make you look older than essentially you are, and a weave that will not irritate your scalp. You know, quite a number of people get irritated by the synthetic weaves that they use. So a good weave is a fiber that will be light enough not to put weight on your hair, because what we're seeing is a lot of women are losing their own natural hair to weaves. And a weave that does not make you unrealistically young or old. So it should be a style that really suits you and a style that takes care of your hair. And one thing that it's quite interesting to listen to Ian and Carol as they go through discussing different hairstyles. But the thing is, a good weave should be able to enhance how you're supposed to look like.
Okay.
And again, weaves are supposed to be wigs, and any hair extensions. They're essentially meant to be occasional additions to your hair. But what is happening is that people are actually making them their permanent hairstyles, and it's causing more harm than good. But they are good weaves if done professionally, like I would reckon what Ian said. Most of the weaves just fixed to have something on your head. but they need to be done professionally to enhance your looks, but at the same time take care of your hairline and generally your hair. We should all remember that synthetic or human weaves really leach oil and moisture from your hair and scalp, so they should be done occasionally just to enhance your beauty.
All right, Muli, and we'll be coming back to Muli for more on that. And let's move on to our next image, and this is on Miss Kenya 2004, Juliet Achieng. And this photo here was taken, she's since ventured into music. This photo was taken as she was shooting a video for her single, The Way You Love Me. This is a lace wig, which comes all the way to the front. Carol, I think the makeup is fantastic.
I like the makeup, but I don't like what she has on her head. She looks like a drag queen. And really,
Carol.
the problem, it's true. It's the problem with the lace front weave is that when you take it off, it cuts off the hair at the front of your head. So if you regularly wear it, at some point you'll start losing hair at the front, on the front line. I don't think this whole, the whole trend about coloring her hair and having it deep dyed going downwards, it doesn't work. The parting is on the wrong side of her face and it doesn't flatter her because she has such beautiful cheekbones. There is nothing about that thing on her head that makes her look beautiful.
Ian.
I've just removed the hair completely and I've seen her completely bald and she looks beautiful.
Yes.
Completely bald, she looks beautiful.
She does,
What
actually.
she's got that mop on her head. No.
And when Juliet was voted Miss Kenya 2004, she actually had a clean-shaven look, similar to what Robert has. Robert, no, before Robert, let's hear from Anna. Because your expression is scary.
That was an interesting comparison between you and Juliet.
I know.
But yeah, I know Juliet. Like you say, she's a gorgeous girl in person. She really is beautiful. She's working the ombre trend there, which is where you have the darker root and then you have the light the light hair at the bottom, and it's a common trend that girls are working right now. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the weave. I think it takes away from a woman's natural beauty, and I think there's an addictive element to the weave where once you start doing it, it's really hard to revert back to how you used to be. Like the Juliet we know of before, when she won, she's gone. We're probably never going to see her again. So that's a shame.
Robert.
The song that comes into mind is the Michael Jackson song, says Black or White. This tells me she's a very beautiful woman naturally, but this tells me she's not sure who she is. She's trying to be white, she's trying to be black, she's trying to be Black American, Jamaican. Non-verbally, as a non-verbal communication expert, this tells me that she's not sure who she is.
I disagree. I disagree.
She is not sure what she wants to be.
I don't think that's a fair statement, actually. I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
and I stick by it.
I mean,
I'll tell you.
Would you say Lillian does not want to be black because she's wearing a
No. No. I didn't say about the weave. I said the different color shades. Let me tell you.
I'm blonde.
No.
I'm
No,
red.
listen. But hang on. Look at what you two have done. You've gone all out.
Yes.
If you had blonde, yellow, green, it tells me non-verbal communication is that you are not sure who you are. Remember, what we see before you open your mouth tells us who you are.
Okay, let's move this conversation forward. And this one is on socialites. We have a new term nowadays called socialites. And it is on, Nairobi socialite Vera Sidika with a friend at a function. And let's take a look at that. Right, that is Vera Sidika with her friend Ella there at a function. And Carol, this...
Well, first of all, I'm glad that it's past the kids' bedtime. Really?
Sorry, I've just noticed the hair as well.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
But actually, I like Vera's weave. This is a good weave. But I've heard a lot about this weave. It's supposed to cost as much as a Vitz.
What?
It's supposed to be 450,000 shillings. I have no idea how true it is. It's made out of human hair, something Russian, or so to speak. 450,000 shillings.
450,000.
But how true is that?
Zimbabwe
I don't know.
Kenyan.
We would have to ask her, but she
Yeah.
said this herself.
Yeah.
So what I like about this
It
is
washes
that,
itself.
Oh, good Lord. I don't know.
It combs itself.
I love the whole, Veronica Lake thing, covering her eye. It's very
Yeah,
glamorous
Marilyn
and seductive
Monroe.
and very sexy. I love how she's done the weave. And I know I've seen pictures of her without her hair, and actually the weave is much better. And it enhances her beauty. And first of all, because she's a socialite, this actually fits with what she wants people to think she is. Yes.
Okay.
So it's fake, like
No, it's not fake. It's high glamour for her. And first of all, there is a whole backstory of how much it costs.
Okay.
Yes.
And you know, the thing is, I think with this weave, you can see that the thread count is actually good. It's a
This is
full.
not a cheap weave.
It's
Yes.
full. It's not bare. You know, you don't have spaces showing in
Yes.
between. Annabelle, do you like this hair? You're not big on weaves.
You know, I'm not. I'm a proponent for natural hairdos, but I mean, Vera, she's a video vixen. You know, I mean, the girls are out, the hair is, you know, blown out, the lipstick is red, and she looks really good. And I think women should have a right to choose what kind of hair they want.
Yeah.
And when you have a choice, and she's chosen this, and she looks great.
Yeah, I agree. Let's move this along, and this is on a fashion pageant, and here we see different wigs, some synthetic, some human hair, and let's take a look at that clip. These are models strutting the catwalk, and of course a lot of focus on their hair. This here, a synthetic weave. Let's move on to the next one. And there you go, you have the front, the bangs, the fringe, and there's a third one, and let's take a look at that. And there you go. I think these are all synthetic, which is, I suppose, what Muli, the trichologist, was talking about. How real, and even Ian mentioned that, how real does your weave look?
Yeah.
How fake does it look? Ian, what do you think?
Well, for catwalk, they usually have wild hair. So for that,
Ooh, surprise, surprise. I'm actually quite impressed that you had something nice to say about weaves. Annabelle, no, Robert, let me hear. Let's look at that particular.
I have a problem when you have very long weave. It just looks, it's too fake, and you need to let your hair breathe as well. This is just too extraordinary on the negative side. If it was shorter, it looks good. Too long is just out of this world. It's just
Carol, what
pushing it
is
too
an
much.
ideal, because you find ladies at the office sometimes when your weave is too long and you have a serious meeting, always having their hair tied up in a band because you know it's not appropriate to go with your hair hanging that low or that long. What is the appropriate length, do you think, for a girl to step out, you know, officially and even just be able to balance with social events out there?
It's usually say that if a woman wants to look professional, the hair should be shoulder length, at the very least, if you're in corporate. And if your hair is not that, well, it's not that short, then you probably tie it back. You need to get the hair off your face if you want to be taken seriously, because people want to interact with you, they need to see you. So they need to make contact with your face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, and of course, Muli will be talking to us a bit more about this issue. But let's move on to now to the hair effects. Before Muli comments on this, let me just show you some clips on the effects of weaves, particularly what they can do to your hairline, depending on how many times you put them on. This is Naomi Campbell, and as you can see on one side of the screen, she's got a beautiful weave, and then on the other side she's got a bit of her hairline showing, and you can see what that weave has done to her hairline. This could be due to gluing. This could be, let's move on to the next clip, just to show. Right, there you go. Robert,
that
Robert
wasn't an accident or something.
You know, she looks like an extra for a horror movie. And it is so sad. This hair has been crying while the weave was on.
Yeah.
So please give it time, let it breathe. I mean, honestly, she looks like Nightmare in Elm Street. It is so sad. It
Yeah.
is so sad.
And
In
it's
an
a
effort,
vicious
in
cycle
an effort to
because-
look beautiful, you're killing your own natural beauty.
And it's
But
a
for me,
vicious
it's
cycle
just-
because for that to heal, it needs to be off. And if it's off, she can't be
She can come to
Mombasa
Mombasa and stay here for 6 months, then goes back after
Well,
it's
for
gone out.
one thing, it's probably never going to heal because that's a sensitive area on the head where once you lose that hair, you've pretty much lost it. It's not going to grow back. But the irony with her is, recently, I think a week
there's
ago,
hair transplant.
she was inspired by Prince to wear an Afro wig, and she looked phenomenal in it. Which
Right.
means that, you know, she's put, you know, this idea of having to have, you know, this long straight hair, whereas in natural curls she would look equally as beautiful, you know.
Right. And let's take a look at some more effects of excess weaving. And this is the same with excess braiding, you know, the little tight braids that you do. That is what weaves can do to your hairline. And like Ian said, it becomes a vicious cycle because then you have to constantly have a weave on to hide that. But you know what? not all is lost. We've got our trichologist with us in studio, and I want him to, he's been listening in on this conversation. Muli, there are a lot of ladies out there who are probably going through a similar thing there with the loss of the hairline and the receding hairline. Talk to us about what can be done in such a scenario.
Thank you, Lillian. And the most painful thing is the people who designed weaves had a good intention. Weaves, wigs, braids, and any hair extensions. And the idea was occasionally people to enhance. If you want to have more body, more volume on your hair, or you want to have more length. And the cosmetology law says put on your weave or your wig at most for 3 weeks, and then you pull it down. Because when you have your weave on, you're not conditioning your hair, you're not shampooing your hair, and your hair is not breathing like the panelists are saying. And your hair needs to be shampooed and treated on a weekly basis or after every 2 weeks, really, to strengthen it. But again, when you go to the salon, the fact that we still have a lot of deficiency in information in the salons, the people fixing the weaves or braids on our hair, they really don't care how the damage that will come with it, or they do not give you an advice on what is the best thing to do and what you need to avoid. So the damage on the hair has actually forced our mothers, our sisters, and our daughters to really turn to the weaves and put them on as the option, because they do not have any other option. And it leads to the damage like the image you're seeing on the screen. Now, this is, you fix your weave with 300 or 500 or 1,500 shillings. But when you lose your hairline, it will cost you more to restore your hair, because what happens is that the continuous pulling of your hairline leads to hair breakage. And if you continually do it again, then it leads to a permanent loss of your hair, whereby you pull out your hair follicle, because the most important part of your hair is the hair follicle, it's not the hair strand. And the moment you pull it out, then you end up getting a very smooth patch of your hairline. And the only way we can restore that is through hair transplant, which will cost you quite an amount of money. The good news is that we're doing that in Kenya. And what we do is that we plant new hair follicles that then start generating new hair. But if you go back to pulling, weaving, and everything that you keep doing for so long, then you will end up losing even the new hair that you've planted.
Right.
So my advice is, please, if you must put on a wig or a weave, and those very expensive weaves, people are buying them because they say, I can stick with it for like 5 months, or I can pull it out and put it back again. But you should really think about the damage it's going to cause on your hair. Weaves are very good if used for the right intention and if kept on your head for the right time. Some people stick with weaves until they start smelling very bad. And that's why men will start having the group Mawe and saying we are men against weaves. And here we'll hate the weaves. I don't know why he really hates them with passion. But ideally, I mean, I meet friends and people tell me, my husband has never seen my hair, and I pity the men. So ideally, weaves should be put on for 3 weeks, pull them down, condition your hair well, shampoo it well, be it natural or relaxed, just take care of it until the other moment, then you really need to enhance the volume in your hair. And you don't necessarily have to put on a full head of weave. You can do just a bit of pieces just to enhance if you need volume. If it is length that you need, you can fix something that will not cause damage on it. Particularly
Muli, final question. There are ladies who are asking about the track and sew. There are ladies who prefer the track and sew, where you plait a little bit of your hair and leave some of it open. For those who don't want a full head weave, I believe you touched a bit on just leaving a little bit at the front. But what about those who want to do tracks and then a bit of hair out even inside? Is that damaging to the hair? Can that be a better option to perhaps just leaving a bit at the front? Because some ladies, you know, go to the gym, want to be able to have, to run their fingers through their hair, so to speak, or to have their men run their fingers through their hair. Yeah, what do you think about that?
Yes, Lillian, track and sew is okay. It's good. But the thing is, the quality of a weave you're buying depends on the quality of the synthetic, I mean the material that is used to put together the weave. Even if it is human hair, how heavy is the hair strand of the weave that you're going to fix on the truck, on the lines that you do when you're doing truck and sew. If you buy a cheap weave, chances are high that it is very heavy on hair. And then you're applying weight on your hair for a length period of time. So you definitely cause breakage. 90% of the women living in Kenya today are using relaxers on their hair. And relaxers work by breaking down the strongest bonds in your hair. So when you do lines, when you do the truck and sew and then you fix a heavy weave, chances are high that when you're pulling out your weave, your hairdresser always has a dustbin to keep throwing your hair.
Okay.
And what happens is, again, human or synthetic weaves, they drain oil and moisture from your hair. And dry hair, it's fragile, it's brittle. So anytime you're removing your weaves and you've been covering your hair for 2-3 weeks, and you've not been conditioning it, you've not been using moisturizers on it, chances are high that you will lose a lot of your hair. Okay. So even truck and sew is not a very safe way of doing weaves. Anyway, weaves are good if done in the right way. You can do weaves once or twice in a year and make sure that it is done correctly. If you do truck and sew, make sure that you've got enough hair. Don't do very thin lines, because again, the pain will be more on a fewer strands of hair, other than having quite a huge chunk of hair done in lines, and then you fix your weave.
Okay, thank you very much, Mule Musyoka. He's a trichologist. He knows his stuff. He's worked on so many hairlines in this country. And, you know, this is a concern because obviously people are losing their hair to the excess weaving and the excess braiding. Annabelle is natural. This is her hair. Annabelle, people are asking you if your hair is Annabelle. Tell us why you opted to go natural.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had natural hair. It's always been my aesthetic to sort of have my own natural curl. I do put color in it, so I'm not completely innocent in this, but it's my hair, and I think I'm testament to the fact that black girls can actually have long hair. You just need to sort of, like the expert said, condition and just stay away from the weaves and that. No offense. No offense, sweetheart. But I think for me it's about choice, and my choice was to stay natural. Okay. And it worked out for me. You know, I have my own hair and it's long and it's healthy.
Okay. Carol, you also, I know, off the braids have gone natural. What was that about? Why did you choose to go natural?
Well, when I had my hair shorter, I actually used to texturize it just briefly, but that's because I used to trim it every other week. So that was easy to do. But for me, I think the whole idea of going natural is, first of all, I did not want to have relaxers on my hair, and then I can't color and relax at the same time because that's just too high maintenance. Okay. So I just wanted to find something that works for me, and I've always loved the idea of having thick, full hair. And also, it was sort of like coming into myself. Okay. And I realized that I can wear my hair like this, and I've had it like that for years now.
Great. Thanks for sharing
and also,
that.
I decided to go natural. Oh, sorry.
Ian, yeah, we can see you decided to go natural a long time ago. But let's take a look at what you're saying on social media. You know, this Men Against Weaves campaign, I suppose, has been put to rest now because, you know what, the expert does say there's nothing wrong with weaves, but don't do them too much. But let me take what I have here. Somebody here is saying effects of weaves horrific. This is Janet Sudi. Somebody here is saying planting hair, that's new. And this is when the trichologist spoke about having to go through a hair transplant once you lose that hair. So telling you to just be careful so that you don't lose your hair. Somebody here say, what I dislike most about weaves is the part where women slap their heads when it gets itchy.
Yeah. That's so true.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is funny. And this is at Anjoguna97, and that is so hilarious. And somebody here is saying, you know, this is the young executive at Agnes Nonsezi. She's saying she cannot hack weaves, the wigs, or what have you. The heat is just uncomfortable. Here's somebody saying, great women don't wear weaves. Lupita, Grasa, Mrs. Museveni, Mrs. Kenyatta, and my girlfriend. Oh, wow. Well, for each their own, you know. And then let's take a look at one or two more. I don't see why it's anybody's business what I put on my head. I like my weaves long and sexy.
Are you sure that's not you? Seriously?
That's not me. This is Vonja Pella. And then somebody here saying, this was the best discussion ever. You guys, especially Ian and Robert, you are lemering women and their weaves. You know what? As long as the weave is clean, as long as it's regularly washed.
Yeah, but how many of them are that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, they
come
now
now.
know. They now know that it's okay to just, and preferably if it's human hair, then you can actually have it washed and curled and it will be fine.
So I
For
think
me, I
that
think that the bigger issue here is that people don't know how to take care of natural hair. So a lot of salons don't know what to do with women with natural hair. So that's why they resort to weaves.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also the weave is supposed to protect your hair because maintaining your hair when it's natural,
Exactly.
it is such a hassle.
And
Think about it.
thank you,
How
Kyle.
much? How much
Yes,
is a wash
thank
and
I
set?
disagree.
How much is a wash
You
and set
cannot
of
wash and
natural?
set your hair if it's natural.
Your natural hair. How much does it take? How much does it cost to do your hair?
barely anything. If it's your
Barely
own
anything.
hair.
You see, if I have a salon, I'll do weaves.
Yeah,
they
and first
don't
of
have-
all,
getting
yes.
the money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
we're
If
running
someone
out
is
of
spending
time.
450,000,
I
Hey,
can't
I'll
believe-
start selling
you could be
weaves.
beaten.
I can't believe Ian just said how much is a wash and set. Gone are the days of wash and set, Ian. FYI. You just did not say that. So, you know, it's been amazing. And in our defense, some of us that are in studio all the time. And Carol, I know, and Annabelle, I know you know this. We are on air so much that if you had to keep curling and
It's
tonguing
even
your
worse
hair,
for
it
your
would
hair.
just
You
fall
might as well
off.
just weave it, yes.
Yeah, it would just
Yeah.
fall off. So thanks for
Excuses,
watching.
excuses.
Thank you for your time, guys. It's been great. We'll catch us again next week with my panel on Fashion Watch. Thank you very much, of course, Mule Musyoka, the trichologist, with us in studio tonight. I'm sure he's been of help to those of you who had hair questions. Thank you for watching. Sports is up next. I'll be right back.